this Friday, February the 10th. Welcome to the IRL Agile podcast with your host, Coach AF. Yes, I'm fucking coach as fuck. And I'm really glad to have with me Daniel. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
Daniel Tadros, the greatest digital entrepreneur ever. But you're also a creative and artist, so you're left and right brain together, right?
Yes, exactly.
This is what I love because
It's true.
Yeah, because a couple of our audience are really into intuitive leadership as well.
Mm-hmm.
We're just not talking about just business agility. So, first time I heard about you was I was on a conference in London 4 or 5 years ago with Tim Draper.
Yeah.
And because I know you from your song with your brother, you know, the Tadros brother.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really like kind of house music, deep house, and pop music kind of thing. Because I was more listening to your DJ type of song, The Living.
We have all sorts of 10 albums.
10 albums, amazing. So you could find them into
Tadros,
not iTunes anymore, Tadros Brothers, is that it?
Yeah, Tadros
Okay.
Brothers.
But I'm really glad to have you, Daniel. We met during our exile and the pandemic at Tulum and stuff.
The way we met, this is fun because I was telling my girlfriend, I said, we should talk about this tomorrow on the podcast. He texts me, I was in Mexico, Tulum, and he texts me, he says, Tadros, whatever. And then he says, the first time I heard about you was in London, but what Tim Draper played our song?
Yeah, because but before he came on stage to discuss about the trending of the Bitcoin, that was 2017, I think, is that right?
Interesting.
Something like this, because I was in London that moment,
yeah.
2018, but for the business agility talk. And he said, and they played Bitcoin also, and it was very touchy. I mean, maybe we'll play it.
People, if they don't know, Tim Draper is one of the great venture capitalists, VC, who invested in Hotmail, Coinbase, Tesla, SpaceX.
Did he invest
Robinhood.
in PayPal as well?
I don't think PayPal.
Okay.
But he has, I think his whole group have over 20 unicorns. Which is companies that made over $1 billion.
My audience know about unicorn. I keep talking because business agility or enterprise scrum with business agility from my late mentor Mike Beadle was all about improving the fastest to market, but also like your trend of growth for an employee to become a unicorn within the first 2 years.
Nice.
1 billion. Yeah. So that's with business agility. This is what we do. We help people becoming richer, faster, and wiser.
For companies or for employees? You do for both?
We do startups.
Yeah.
We do small business, all average, but of course you will adapt. You will tailor the approach according if you work for a big bank. Of course, they don't want that type of things, but they still need to improve the way they treat the employees and also the customer satisfaction. Because the agile thing, it's all about people first. And when we say people first, it's your customer. If you don't have a customer, you don't have a business. So it's all about this, and it's product development more than project development. So that's.
And for you, I'm curious because I've known you for 2 years now.
Yeah.
But for you, agile is like it's being adaptive, right? The animals that survive are not the strongest; they're the ones that adapt.
Exactly.
And so
it's an adjective. And you could replace that adjective by flexible. I would prefer flexible because you want to flex your thing, you want to rethink your thing, you want to continuously improve the way you approach things and solving problems. Because when people talk about adaptation, I think adaptation, it's kind of the lesser of agility because you will just adapt. But if you want to really improve, you will flex your thinking, you will flex your approach, and you flow with it. With adaptation, it's just like
Einstein once said, the way you change something is by creating something totally brand new without anything to do with the first system. So something in that, it really has to do with creating something totally different.
Exactly.
Like Bitcoin.
So that's exactly the blockchain standard.
Yeah.
It's what we call a Nassim Taleb, called the black swan.
Yeah.
A black swan event is something positive sometimes, could be negative as well. But in business agility, we encourage you to distort the thing, to bend the rule, and to create something very innovative. It's about innovation.
Yeah.
So if you want to create innovation, an innovation center into your enterprise, or what you do, you need that spirit of business agility. And by the way, Steve Denning, I don't know if you know Steve Denning.
No.
Is one of the oldest and most experienced consultant in business and coach in business. He's also a contributor at Forbes. He wrote the book, The Age of Agile, back in 2009. Now he's talking about digital age that need business agility as the new way, not the future, because the future is now. That's what we do. We don't do transformation anymore at the Agile Launch. We do your adoption of these mindset and the evolution of it, like from now to new, always now to new.
I think there's a lot of like resistance, like with new things. Most people that like I speak to don't comprehend what I'm talking about because they have resistance to the new ideas, and I think that's what holds back like our societies, like and businesses and people and everything else. Because say I come up to you and I say, hey, I just parked whatever today, and I tell you this weird thing, and most people will say, that's fucking stupid or whatever. I hate that shit, and I
like
that's
pay
what
attention.
I'm gonna say, oh yeah, that, I won't judge it. I'm gonna say, that's interesting. You did that, and then I'm gonna keep it like sort of right here and without judging it. And most people, I think the reason why they're not agile is they'll automatically classify it in a box to not be judged, not be taken by surprise, to not be proven wrong or make a mistake or look stupid. So they put it in a box right away and they judge it.
They presume.
They
always presume, but the thing is, it's because the human being, whether it's the left or right brain that reference to, or your intuition within your reason, I think you have to be yourself with your inner self. You have to do an introspection first and say, so how do I approach everything in this world? Because it's always about us.
Who are you? Yeah. Who are
exactly
you?
Who you really are. So you have to really strongly know who you are, your strength and your weakness. Work on improving your weaknesses.
Do you think we're in a aggressive, violent, warlike world, or do you think we're in a kind world? Like
the majority, let's say it's 80-20. It's 80. I think every one of us.
War?
Hold on. Every one of us, we want this benevolent, loving world, where everything is calm and great. 80% of us want it because it's our true self. 20% of us are the disruptor, inorganic. I like to call them the inorganic one because they don't have a soul. Even if they are a human body, it's not a soul experimenting something here. It's just the body, like very calm, and they want to control everything. So it's about this. We should understand each other instead of you and me or someone else. I want to be right because I have a lot of things invested in this.
People want to be right.
Yeah. So because they want to be right, you're wrong. So I go at war with you. So the disruption is negative. So this is the bad black swan of things that the systems again. So it's culture, nature, system. But the culture, it's the enemy of your imagination and creativity.
Yeah, because you want to fit in the culture.
Yeah, you want to fit in a cult.
In the cult, yeah. Which
it's even worse. Yeah. So in culture, you have cult. But if you go to the real McCoy, because that's what we are called at the Real Agile, the real, it's about real McCoy. We don't say we have the absolute truth of what is Agile and business agility and all of these systems that will help you. But we'd like to teach you the origin of it by remembering who we really are and the way we do it. So when people don't understand one of the concepts in physics, you brought up Einstein, but that the physics call about substantion. You know what substantion is?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. So it's kind of the interrelation of the atom with the other proton and stuff. But if you apply it to a human group, it's also the thing. So how do we work in a team? How do we build team that will achieve something greater than even the individual? But the individual, it's really important. That's why one of my devices is together and different, because I have to respect your difference. You're unique in this universe. Your eyes are unique for sure.
Everything.
DNA, exactly. So, but then again, so that's why I said, like, those who want to control the world, they bring that war to distract us and to, like in the moment of Tesla, the real Tesla, Nikola Tesla. He's been pushed aside, and because it was not part of the agenda of those control freaks, and the same right now, like last week, I showed up and I probably screamed a little bit too much, and I will have to redo it with some of my colleagues. But this Agile Nation Treaty from the World Economic Forum, it's nothing agile because they did it in secrecy. One of the guiding principles of Agile is transparency and make everything visual. Everything visual. Everybody, every stakeholders in a project or product development, open. Exactly.
Open protocols are better.
Exactly. So this is why for me in 2009 in Las Vegas.
No secrecy. No hidden.
No, but when I met these guys, that I kind of think that Satoshi, it's a group of hacker, a group of people for me.
You think so?
Oh yes, it's not a single individual. It's for me, and I not say that those I met in Vegas in 2009 when I get my first.
Do you have their photo?
Bitcoin? Huh?
Do you have their photo? Those people you met?
No. There was like in 2009 I had the iPhone.
Do they know the story? People following us know the story
about the Bitcoin thing?
About the Bitcoin table and when you got the first Bitcoin.
Maybe yes, maybe no, because I don't know if I did that in my crypto Agile series. Maybe, but just a reminder. But for me, the thing is, I was already for 9-10 years into this SCRUM thing. SCRUM is one of the systems for business.
Yes, I know SCRUM. That's how they created. Well, it was a DARPA or no? It was one of these companies. They created a second group and do another.
That was Dr. Roy's very back in the Pentagon.
Yeah, the Pentagon.
But actually, there was incremental development for computer programming. Jeff Shutterland, who was in the Navy and working for Vestmark, a big technological company, contractor of the military, saw what the Japanese Takashi Inomasi did with lean Scrum project management, like the following up of the Toyotas, like all that. And he says like, hey, we could apply it to software development team. So we kind of reference to it from the Harvard Business paper that he read. So this is why they created Scrum probably in 1993, 95. And it became, even to this day, according to the State of Agile 2022, it's 86% of the Agile organization. They are using that lean Scrum system.
What are the guiding principles of a lean Scrum method?
But just to make sure, like as well, we'll make clear, lean was a system that was an outcome of the Toyotism way of in the manufacturing. There was nothing to do with IT and development of products. So that was really, and you had what? You had the Taylorism back in the capitalist kind of for the production thing, for this, and then the war, and then after the war, the Japanese take their revenge with Toyotism. But in the Toyotism, the lean principle, the basic one is, let's
constant improvement.
It's constant, but that will be Kaizen. That's the other thing. But in lean, you cut the waste.
I learned that.
And you concentrate on a small increment right away. So it was already, and you make sure that you involve your workers and the shop because it was manufacturing at that time in the 60s, 70s. Then after that system evolved, and in IT and software development, we emulate everything. Just the name Java, for the language of Java, it's a cafe, right? What do you do with a cafe if you want to fine grain?
I don't know.
Torrefaction.
Yeah.
So the programmer who invented that code, they say the scripting of Java should be torrefaction, to a fine grain of quality for developing any software or something. So that's why they call it Java. So in Agile is a sport stems to to move around. But before Agile, that was the lean thing. Of course, I need to be more lean.
More lean, yeah.
As a coach. But this the principle is
the best language of programming is Java, or what? Do you know a bit about that?
I was just giving this example, but even Ruby, the language Ruby.
Yeah.
Ruby is these guys develop a language about hyper quality, like you shine your rock.
I think a C++ is probably or C whatever.
Or the C sharp things. Yeah.
Expertise.
These are the base.
But the most widely spread and the most easy to find engineers, and I don't know. But
I don't know. Me neither. I'm not that much.
Maybe I'm wrong.
I work a lot. Actually, I became a Scrum Master because of engineering. They didn't want to have a project manager. They wanted to be incremental.
But Bitcoin is in C++.
Probably. You mean the network?
The blockchain.
The blockchain, yes.
With all the code.
Probably. We should ask John
McAfee
about it.
I know it's in C. So anyways, whatever.
But that's a good point. But for me right now, I'm more into business agility, which is we take, so they say the lean was manufacturing, cut the waste, right to the point of delivery. And then Agile, they input, it's an equation, lean and Agile construction. The Agile people were they were engineer too, but they were also business consultant. Business people said like, hey, guys, that's really fancy that you develop apps or you develop network and application, but have you asked the user if he's happy with that? Like the way he's using the software? And so they put the customer experience with Agile. So because the lean was really rough, I just produce the product.
Do you like Elon Musk? Is it one of your somebody you look up to? I'm not sure.
I mean, Elon Musk.
That's what
for me,
he does that a lot. No, quick iteration. Did you?
But no, that's John Prince at Tesla who made this enterprise Agile, not Elon Musk. Yeah, that was the guy. I don't correct me in the comment, guys. If it's Joel Prince, that was a guy who actually, according to his Wikipedia and the community of Agile, he's the one who agilized Tesla and a couple of other companies of Elon Musk. But Elon Musk, what I like or dislike the guy, I don't care much. I don't want to be distracted with the fact that he's the richer guy in the world. He does good things like any of us. I mean, for me, it's not black or white, good or bad. You have to look at, like what he did in May 2021 with the Bitcoin was silly and stupid. And I think he's a girouette. He flipped. Yeah, he flipped because people are thinking about how it's consuming energy and this and that.
But he has a lot of agendas to.
I know. So now people talked about free speech with Twitter, but for me, the way I see,
he's one of the biggest. He's done more for Bitcoin than a lot of people, even though he sold some. But he's one of the biggest. He's the second.
Michael Saylor.
Second biggest one.
No. Michael Saylor. He's the one. Natalie Wood, don't talk to me about her. She's a fraud.
Kathy Wood?
Kathy or Natalie Wood, something
Kathy
like
Wood,
this. Yeah, Kathy Wood. She's a fraud. Darcy is making in that. You want to create some other shit coins. And I know you and I, we diverge. We diverge about it.
Darcy's doing a development kit.
Now, for me, guys, you know me. The real orange pill is Mike Kaiser and Stacey Herbert with Michael Saylor. Jeremy Walker too, and of course Tim
Salvador all the way.
Exactly, Azonte, come back see us because we pay everything. I went. We pay everything in the entire country with our Bitcoin. This is the main. It's a peer-to-peer alternative payment exchange where you become sovereign. You're your own bank. It's not about investment because if you think of investment, that means that you have a goal of transferring it back to shit money that doesn't exist. So that's wrong because we are creating the new world, not the new world order, the new world of love. Because with Bitcoin, it's based on peace, collaboration, co-creation. And the fiat money of the central bank, it's made on war, to your question before.
On debt? On debt, it's
but,
on war?
No, but war, because you have to pay the war, so you're in debt to the government. So that's kind of, So, but you know, Elon Musk for me, or Steve, I used to, and those great entrepreneurs, my favorite still today is Steve Jobs. Even if with his kind of boldness of character, because he was true to himself, he never flipped. And he was focused.
Apparently he flipped a few times with.
I mean, his ideas.
Okay. Yeah, with he would. I heard who's it? Tim Cook saying of how he would flip, but when he would flip, because he would adopt some protocols like I don't know USB at the time there, and when he found out it wasn't the right thing to do, he would flip, but then he would be so convinced of his new idea.
But you know that I was working in San Francisco back between 2005. He changed his mind. Yes, if the SME he hired, the smartest person in the room, could convince him, not the other business. But what I saw is the iPhone 1, let's call it like this, the iPhone Alpha, go right away to the wall of the conference room.
Well,
he threw it like. He said, "This is bullshit. I don't want it." Yeah, really. So his idea of a computer is the iPad of today's, anyways. That first. So you wanted touch screens and even an hologram, even back in 1996. But the thing is, he was. But because you asked me about Elon Musk, it's hard to see. Sometimes he appealed to myself with. Well, especially on Joe Rogan. I don't know if you saw him on Joe Rogan. That was amazing. The first one because he did 3 appearances now, But sometimes I just don't understand the guy, and I'm kind of suspicious when you go to Dubai, and he has the same plan than Carl Schwab's, but a different way of applying it. So for me, if I'm against the idea of a central planning, controlled world, that the World Economic Forum, and actually agility, it's again central system. We are at least distributed, a distributed network, or a decentralized. So that's why, like back in the day when I started talking with those guys in Vegas about the Bitcoin, but they called it, it was calling it the Bitcoin, but it was more about the blockchain type of thing, of creating a secure transactional kind of network and stuff. And I said, oh, this is good, so you need SCRUM to do this. I mean,
I think that if we, no matter what people's intentions are going to be, like for the future, whether it be Elon Musk or whoever creates big companies I think we're going towards a decentralized world, no matter what happens, because it's too late for Bitcoin to disappear. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
And then it's going to be more and more adopted because it's going to just bring more value to every single nation in the world. And so even if big companies get built on the Lightning Network or whatever, and they don't have good intentions or they get controlled politically, I think we're still in a better world because the base layer of Bitcoin is uncensorable, unconfiscatable, it's decentralized.
Exactly.
And so it's like the internet, really, and it brings in the free market for all financial payments. So we brought in the free market on a global basis with lower barriers of entry with the internet. And so when Facebook doesn't do service well, then we change to others that can come in an open system. So I think the same thing will happen with Bitcoin. So even if we build big companies on the Bitcoin network or other, I think we're always going to be, the world is going to be better served going towards the future. I hope. I hope I'm not wrong.
No, but I like this because it's exactly the perspective I see going up the hill, and and that should be the money of that future capitalist of being free. Our freedom is our birthright. So but we have responsibility as well. So that's why for me I don't want to put anything into Tom Draper is this or Elon Musk. It's us. I mean Tadros and Jolie, we could do something. We could create something. We could create. And I don't know if you heard about John Bush and Derek Bros of the Freedom Cells Network. I talked to you about it. Yeah, I sent you some links. I mean, they just did the greater reset, just greater, not the great reset. It's an alternative. I don't know, Jordan Peterson, for instance.
He's doing
he wants to create something against the web.
In London.
But I invited him because he got to do this with London Real. The guy, I invited
Jordan
him.
Peterson?
Yes, not to my podcast, of course. I'm not. But I mean, I invited him to look at what the great work we did for 4 years with the Freedom Cells Network. It's a diverse, decentralized. Even if you have people from whatever you want to call it, left, right, this, that, yoga people, spiritual people. So, because we don't, if we start dividing, it was Aesop back 2,500 years ago, says like, united we stand, divided we fall. So that was a Greek philosophy.
Where we go one, we go all.
Yeah, also, but they inspired them from Aesop. It's Aesop, the great Greek philosopher,
I don't know that.
in 676 BC. Who coined that phrase. At the same time, almost that Sun Tzu was writing his book on war. Because you asked me about, and what about you? What do you think? We live in a warmonger world?
What do I think? I think we live. I think we live in a kind world.
In a kind world.
That's my it's a decision, right? So it's it's like. And I think we have bad actors and we have bad intentions and we have bad people and there's bad things, but not the majority of people. And I prefer to see the world like we live in a nice, bubbly pink world.
With your glasses, that's what you see.
You know what I mean? So let's try. Let's do this.
Try to do this. The world is another way now. It's another way.
We're good. I think it's a good decision to see the world, because when you do that, you decide to see the good in everybody, the good in everything.
Yeah.
It's just easier to go through life thinking that people are nice and that we're not in a violent world. So I think it's better to choose to see the world that way. Yeah, I think so.
So you see the world like when I explain my ratio of 80-20. So I think like truly we are these kind of people. But unfortunately, there's forces at war that prevent this kind of evolution, this kind of natural kind of evolution.
It's true. I agree with that.
And couple of weeks ago on this podcast, I played a clip of Terence McKenna. You know Terence McKenna? Was one of my master, my teacher. Right? I went in Bolivia with him back in the day. Yeah, and you know what I'm talking about, like more than mushroom to spike your mind and stuff. But the thing is, we don't need government that much. I'm not necessarily an anarchist, but I do believe that in self-management, because decentralized should help us create community where we'd like to live together about either a think alike type of thing or other things. Because people are, as I said,
some rules on top, but generally people can pretty much do things on their own.
And society, I think, for me, I want to go back to city-states. No more countries. I'm a John Lennon type of guy. No more. Actually, I mean, like between the cities, all the land should be free and open for anyone to enjoy it. And then you have those city-state, and every city-state will decide the way they want to live. And so that's the thing. So if you don't want to live because for me, again, when the WEF proposed central plan smart city, like Valérie Plante is doing here in Montreal with the project in Griffintown of the 15-minute cities. Okay, if you want to do this, I'm pro-choice. I'm totally pro-choice. Be my guest. It's live and let live. But don't impose it onto me. So that's the thing. So I mean, so that's why I think that the too much regulation, too much law, it's not tailored to the experience of everyone. And at some point, we saw it in the last 3 years. How many people from California to Florida and Texas, from New York? So everybody's.
You don't have that number?
I don't know, but apparently there's a lot. Millions, exactly. So people, and with my friend over at Nomad Capitalist, where they help entrepreneur and 6-7-figure consultant and business people legally transfer their wealth and have residency or citizenship and somewhere else. Their tagline at Nomad Capitalist, and shout out to you guys, it's I go where I'm treated best.
There you go.
So here's the thing. So we don't have city-states, because my dream will be this: a complete world of self-managed individual, responsible adults, responsible for their duty of creating the rights that they want to have. And that will include everything. And so this is why I like about your brothers and you.
If we apply, sorry, I cut you off. If we apply this to what's coming, I think the country-states will be forced to serve us better and better. And people will go where they're better served, like we did in Mexico when we were there.
Exactly. I mean, AMLO he gave us amnesty of this visa. He said, like, don't bother those poor tourists now with, it was over 6 months, no nothing. So,
true. That's what he
I
did.
mean, and don't go to the process of residency. It's just because we understand you don't want to go back to your shithole country of all of these COVID restrictions.
New York, all sorts of people were there. And
So that was amazing, huh?
Yeah,
even the party that I bring you, like all people from all around the world, from Australia. So. And nobody was sick. Were you sick?
No.
Nobody was sick, guys. It was New Year's Eve 2021, I think, something like this. I mean, and the thing is, anyways, I don't want to go too much into this. Yeah, Tulum is good. I'll be at the digital jungle.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it's the co-working like here, but in the jungle in Tulum.
Wow.
So, yes, Joanna, I'm going to cheat on you for 2-3 weeks working from Digital Jungle. Very nice place with a lot of entrepreneurs. There's a lab of blockchainer.
Oh, yeah, in Tulum.
Yeah, in Tulum. I met people who work with the lighting too.
Yeah.
And by the way, could you tell me what's your knowledge or experience with the lighting network? Because I heard Michael Saylor talking about it, but I don't know that much.
Honestly, I've been trying to educate myself. My first concern when I hear about it's a second layer.
Yeah.
With low cost, it's as decentralized. I was kind of afraid that somebody would control that and whatever, but it's been out for 2 years now, and more and more transactions are going on it. I think it's going to be the layer that will allow Bitcoin to expand to even more places.
Okay.
Go on apps because right now, like transfer Bitcoin, it's still a few bucks, and so it's a bit expensive. Lightning Network will reduce those costs while keeping it decentralized. I don't know the exact technology behind it because I've been trying to figure out like
me neither.
what do they do, but
Yeah.
I think Lightning Network is the way forward. If you're building anything, a wallet, if you're building anything on Bitcoin, it's the Lightning solution.
Like these guys over at Unstoppable Domains,
Yeah.
they built a lot of things.
On Lightning?
I don't know if it's on Lightning, but I received their newsletter because I did subscribe to the Web3 of my .crypto website.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, where we could exchange also the Bitcoin, only the Bitcoin. So, let's do a little war about things because I know you and I would diverge about the shitcoin.
The shitcoins, yeah. Like,
and you, I know, but that's okay. I mean, we have to be different.
No, actually, my thinking is a bit changed.
Really? Yeah. Because last time I still saw you. You were still in Ethereum and other Dogecoin.
I still am. But I think ultimately there are mostly all going to, I think maybe ETH is like Netscape. I think, but I'm not sure. The problem is, I think, is that it's so attractive when there's bull runs. It's so attractive to inch into any of the altcoins because they do multiples of, because people take their profits in Bitcoin and inject them in there. So, la part du gain, like everybody.
So
how do you say it in English?
The needs to be greedy.
Cronies.
Cronies, exactly. The needs to be greedy.
Greedy, yeah. We become greedy. And it doesn't mean that there's no good ideas. I think the altcoins market is exactly like in the days of Microsoft. You have the leading company, the leading technology, which is Bitcoin today. In that day was Microsoft, and you had all these crazy people, ideas being built on software and other stuff. And Bill Gates would either buy them or copy them.
Yeah.
And then they would all end up on the Microsoft network, which would be distributed on all the computers around the world. And I think it's exactly the same thing that's happening. And essentially, they all disappeared. Not many other companies were built out of that era. And I think that's what's going to happen. Is that all the great ideas will be built on the Lightning Network, on Bitcoin. And they'll either be stolen or copied.
Yeah.
And rebuilt on the but I do have a little stake on the other altcoins. But in the end, I think any altcoin company, because they're all securities, will end up having a big chunk of Bitcoin to back up the fund or the transactions of the currency that they created. Everybody's going to be on the Bitcoin network. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Actually, because I was a bit curious when John McAfee, before he passed away or whatever the thing, in Barcelona, and I have it on my channel. You can find it. I have the full show of him explaining the Monero smart contract and the fact that the Bitcoin was obsolete and not secure enough. So he was already in 2018 working.
McAfee,
John McAfee was working with his Monero project into another network. It was not the Lightning though. It was something else.
Network.
Yeah, and he was against the maximalists like Kaiser.
Is it the proof of stake or proof of work?
The
Monero?
proof of work and proof of stake, both.
Monero is
both. It's both. I think like the any other coins or other way of dealing, the only thing I have on my wallet is Monero and Bitcoin. That's it. Okay. But I think his idea was great, but I don't know what he will say now 4 years after with what Vitaly from Ether, because we discovered that the Ether coins, Ethereum, whatever, it's a centralized thing. It's owned by them. So
it's another fiat.
Yeah, and then because of that network that he created, like this is when the shitcoins start properly.
Yeah.
Because on the Bitcoin network, you have to be a Bitcoin.
Yeah, but
you cannot be another.
People will innovate anyways. Like
okay,
I think people they're to innovate. People will innovate. But the problem with ETH is that he's changing the protocols. He got rid of the miners, and it's like he's basically creating a new shitcoin. He's forking it every time.
Yeah,
and the sole idea that you could change the rules of the game while the game is played, like Ether in Bitcoin, you can't do that. You can't return the transactions if there's a hack. In ETH, they did it. So the fact that some people can do that makes it a security. It makes it a company.
Yeah.
It makes it manipulatable. It makes it a fiat currency. It's too bad that so many developers created so many things on it, and it's going to become like a big company with a marketplace like the Apple Store, which is what Ethereum is like. But in the end, if people want to use it as money, and you have these people that can decide whatever they want to do with it,
it's over.
It's over. Like ideologically, I think.
Listen to a pro.
Ideologically, I think Ethereum is already over. Just because you have this perfect, pristine protocol that nobody can tamper with, nobody can change the rules, nobody can do anything, and it's just they're waiting for people to understand.
Exactly.
It's fucked up.
Exactly.
And so I don't know what's going to happen.
So finally,
I don't know what's
as Mike Kaiser will tell you, and myself will tell you, you saw the light in the shitcoin.
But I always did see the light. But it's every bull run, it's enticing to say, let me put in something that's going to do that times 100. When Bitcoin is going to do times 10, the small shitcoin is going to do times 100.
Yeah.
So, but the regulation, I think, is going to take care of that really soon.
Yeah, but it's also the ownership and the responsibility of the older like you and I. Like you know that I coach people on tips. I don't even charge for it, and it's not financial advice. But you have all the link in my YouTube and Rumble description to get your free on tips. So you give me anything you want about your satisfaction about this crypto agile thing. I call it crypto agile because it's just a buzzword. But the thing is, I help people actually get their wallet according to their guiding principle and the guiding principle of the white paper. So for me, when I say real McCoy, there's a source of truth. And the source of truth is those 13 principles of the white paper. And when I see people creating like Dogecoin 2 years ago, I say like, you are in contravention of 12 of the 13 principles. So you just play a game worse than the marketplace of fiat money and stuff like this. So I said, and everybody's buzzing about that. And of course, the geek don't know, like XRP. But XRP is owned by Goldman Sachs, for God's sake. How could you be in the decentralized movement of freedom?
The problem is that the societies and the people will keep on going towards these coins because we're so stuck in their system that we're looking for any way to flee that system and get rich. And use leverage and these altcoins.
But get rich about what? But because when people ask me about the value, are you not worried that it's 19,000 US dollars? I don't care. Not because I bought it at 159 back in the day. It's not the point. For me, I don't see the value in fiat money. I see that I got Bitcoin to exchange with you in the future city that we're going to talk about a little bit. But for me, like, it's and let me ask you something. You know the Gellmeyer cycle of innovation? It started with Innovator who created... Yes. And then you have the early adopter. Then you have the Chasm. There's a Gellmeyer, right?
I don't know.
So in the Chasm, this is where people, it's often represented as a cliff where people have to jump. Either they adopt it or they stay in the old world. And so in the Shaft, you could lose a lot of people. And this is why, according to what I understand of what you explained, the other altcoin risk to fall in that shaft. Because we are in a shaft right now, don't you think? For the adoption of crypto.
I think they're either like not all going to go to zero, but I think a few companies, we're like in 2000. Like in the year 2000, all these
with the dot-com bubble,
all these initial
the internet
all
kind
the
of
IPOs, and then there's like 3 that survived: Amazon, Google, Facebook. I think we're there, but it doesn't mean that there's no good ideas. It doesn't mean that you can't make 100x in the next bull run, which is why I'm keeping some positions because I have $50 in a small shitcoin that nobody knows. But it's going to do 100.
Who knows? Yeah.
And maybe I make 20,000 and I'm going to go buy some Bitcoin.
But as I said to my coachee, I don't mind if you want to play games. That's okay. You could play the games. But at the end of the day, if you want to go live in Bitcoin City, it's Bitcoin City. So, and the purpose of this, what's the white paper open with?
I don't know.
A means of exchange between us, out of the bank, for you, by you, and everything. So that's the principle. They never talked about investment. No. So that's why, like, I love Tim Draper as a VC because in my old world business, he helped a lot of entrepreneurs starting up things and stuff with a grant. He's one of the most kind guy to coach. Like a lot of people will talk about Tony Robbins because he's a great coach and blah, blah, blah. But in terms of practical coaching, helping people creating their own company,
thing,
Dropper is the best guy. So if you're an entrepreneur out there listening to this, you get to search Tim Dropper. He offers a lot of seminar even online right now. He's an amazing guy. Don't go to the Founder Club in Los Angeles. That's bullshit. Go with Tim Dropper School of Business.
He gives his email, and if you have a fairly relatively good idea, and he thinks that you could help, he's going to answer.
Yeah, and even though I saw a couple of my clients who didn't get through his funding or whatever, but he was kind enough to direct them to other VC. Could you imagine that? Yes, he did that. I have testimony from some of my clients. No?
No.
So he refused you the grant?
No, he never sent me to another VC, but he's pretty good, very open, very open-minded. We have four songs that we did with him, by the way. He wrote the lyrics to one of the songs, and we have 3 other songs on Bitcoin. Have you ever heard my
No,
songs?
only
one, because we wrote 4 or 5 songs on Bitcoin. Bitcoin on my mind, the Bitcoin hustle.
That's the only one I heard.
Going up Bitcoin for the World Cup.
Maybe the up thing, but I didn't. Thought it was you because it was so spread in a meme. At some point, some years, there was meme all over the place with that Bitcoin up,
yeah,
to the moon. Is that
no, but
we
wrote a few songs. He gave the lyrics to a few songs, and it was pretty cool. Yeah.
So we talk a lot about like Bitcoin because, of course, as a digital entrepreneur, and you're really into it with your brother for a couple of what 4 or 5 years now.
In Bitcoin,
2017.
2017.
That's great.
So 6 years.
Yeah, and I like that. I like that because you understand it's fast. Eric and you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like other like con artists. What was that? A bat? We're not in Austin, Texas, because in Austin, Texas, we could be attacked by a bat. Actually, you have to come maybe April 14. What do you do?
Yeah, where?
In Austin, Texas.
Maybe we do it.
It's going to be, and I don't mind to say it out loud, even for the LinkedIn people. There will be a kind of a live podcast of Tim Pool with Luke Podolsky of We Are Change, John Bush of Freedom Sales Network, Alex Jones.
Going to be there?
We're going to be there. Michael Mattis. I try to have Mike Skicer and Stacey Herbert.
Yeah.
But they hard to get out of.
I want to go.
Every time I try to invite Mike Skicer, and by the way, Greg, this is for you if you listen. Greg Kramer is one of the great innovators in Wisconsin. Mike Skicer right now, every time I try to invite that couple to come somewhere, they said, "No, you come in Salvador. You come in El Salvador."
Maybe we go to Salvador and we do an interview.
Maybe we could do this. And we'll be great.
I want to go. I haven't been doing it much. You invited me a few times.
Yeah.
But maybe the next year we'll.
But there's a lot of things. 2023, and I love when we were talking before about decision making. Decide. I opened my year podcast. I call it Rise Up Together or Get Out of the Way. Because 2023, guys, is the year we have to decide, we have to make choices. The great realization. If you didn't realize enough, not just talking about awakening, if you didn't realize the type of world we are living in, and I love your optimistic approach of if you change your perception, you might be able to co-create something better. But I don't want to say but.
No, but it starts with us.
It starts with us. And that's why this year, I think 2023, this is my feeling. Of course, 2023 is just a number from the Roman Empire because a lot of people say it's 2023 after Jesus Christ. No, it is not. It's 2023 of what?
No, I'm looking at the mic area. Maybe I hope that my scarf is not.
They're good.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Okay.
Because I don't have any backup right now. So
I think coming to that is that.
But what I was saying is just want to finish it. 2023 for me is the last moment in our kind of time lapse where if individually or for your professional development, including entrepreneurship, you didn't make a choice, it's going to be harder. I'm not saying it's too late, but it's 2024 and so on. It's going to be really hard for you to be prepared to live and where, because that's the thing. I agree with you, it's going to be more decentralized, but only for those who will have made that choice this year. I'm not talking just moving in Mexico or moving in other country with nomad capitalists or anything like this. But the thing is, if you don't prepare, I'm not talking about preppers, but if you don't put in place right now things for yourself, your family, your career, to have multiple source of revenue. This is the thing. If you have only one branch, have you seen a tree with only one branch?
No.
No. We are a tree. We need multiple branch of revenue. So that's the key thing of the future, to really embrace the decentralization. So that's why I say, like, all of those who don't make anything that's business as usual, or they retire, that's why I say rise up together, or get out of the way, or do your thing. I don't mind if you want to live into this 15-minute cities, be my guest. I respect your choice, but respect mine. Don't impose into me your choice, because so that's the thing of, and that's why I love the fact that, you know, I see something. You know me, I'm crazy. With COVID, I create some things with my team. Create your own vision and detail. Okay, so I see positive and horrible thing. Right now, I know it's horrible for Ukrainian and even Russian, because both sides are dying right now in this war. But this war is showing us geopolitically that it's no more a unipolar world after the 1991 collapse of the Soviet Union. Now it's really a diverse. You have like the country like Brazil. I don't know anymore with Lula, but that's another thing. But I think we have a chance. Africa is rising up too, with Nigeria. Salute you, Nigeria. I know you listen to me. It's a big country, 226 million people.
They're using Bitcoin?
They're using Bitcoin. They said, fuck off to CBDC that they were trying there. And so that's the thing. And guys, that's the thing. It's an info war right now, because the war is not just about people killing each other with drones and stuff. It's all about manipulation, neuroscience, using it on us. It's incredible. So it's hard to see what is the true information. So it's very hard. You have to be above and beyond all of this. So you have to free yourself first, make good decision. Now, it's always now. You don't make decision, of course, for your future, but I mean, for me, I feel like 2023, and it's the year of the rabbit for our Chinese.
What is it? I heard that this morning.
It's about the fourth. It's this today. No, today is the third.
Chinese year of the rabbit. What does it represent?
But for me, I'm just joking. It's the rabbit is the water rabbit this year.
On water, yes.
So it's kind of slidey. But for me, I said like it should be a jumping rabbit. So it should be like but the rabbit is always dynamic. It's a dynamic of transitory thing.
Transitory.
Yeah, and it was the tiger in my year.
But it's still moving.
Oh yes, it's gonna move fast, and you're gonna have to make decision fast to decide if you want to live in a new world of love, or into a kind of a new world of technocracy and control. So that's the big split. There's no great reset. It's a great split. You want to live as usual. You want to keep your comfort zone.
I have a specific take on CBDCs and Bitcoin. Is that I think, and I told you this a little bit, and I don't think I'm wrong on this. The way I see it is that ever since Bitcoin came out on the 3rd of January 2009, you have this open, worldwide, permissionless system of exchange of value. And you have all these rulers and dictators, whatever, the West, that are trying to do, the banks that are trying to do their thing, but their thing has limits on it. Yeah. But it's like a crypto, and that's, you know, like when I have this is where my experience with altcoins helps, is that when I have an altcoin, if I don't like it, and I think it's bullshit, and they're increasing the supply, I take it. In 5 seconds, I flip it and I put it in Bitcoin. Yeah. And I'm like, Bitcoin is the thing, or I flip it in something else, or whatever I do. And the CBDCs is just another altcoin. And they're going to impose on these CBDCs a whole bunch of restrictions and spend it before this. So expiration. So you know what?
They want you to spend.
Do whatever you want. Enforce employers to pay us at CBDC. It doesn't matter, because it's going to be on the same rails. In a sense, it won't be, if it's a closed system and we're stuck with it, nobody's going to use it.
But so here's the thing.
They have to play in the same openness. So it has to go on the same rails as all these other things. And we're going to receive it in our salary. We're going to take the hit of 25% if they say you got to spend it right away or whatever. We're going to flip it. We're going to put it in Bitcoin. And it's only going to increase Bitcoin's prominence. Because whoever tries to create restrictions is dead upon arrival. Yeah. Because Bitcoin exists. And it's on the same rails. So they're not, it's impossible to win, because as soon as you start figuring out, oh, I can just take my salary in CBDC and say, fuck, I don't like these restrictions, and just go into Bitcoin.
Yeah, but you cannot. You will be not able to do that.
But it's never going to work.
And they want you to spend. They don't want you to save. So you'll own nothing and be happy.
It's never going to work.
I know. But it's never going to work In a country like Canada, do you think so? With 86%?
But it's two ideologies. I mean,
I know.
it's never gonna work.
But I hear people.
It can't be a CBDC if it's not on crypto rails. If
I
it's
know.
on crypto rails,
But it's not. That's the thing. They're not building it. I don't want to name any of my. So that's the problem because
the stupidest fail in
hey,
history.
look just at the name. The name and text like central bank digital currency. So it's not decentralized finance cryptocurrency. You see, but that's the thing. When we talk about decision, guys, it's about your way of living, your way of exchanging money for services. So if you don't have Bitcoin right now, if you don't transfer your fiat money into Bitcoin, we're not talking about $10,000. Just at least put a minimum of $100, $500. Open your wallet. Don't do any exchange.
$20.
Don't do any exchange.
Yeah.
Me, I coach people right now. You get your wallet. And you try to either you go to the Concordia ATM to switch your money, or you have prepaid card
on the bank,
Visa, exactly, directly to the wallet.
Yeah, directly to the wallet. Yeah.
With your 12 key chain. If you don't have your 12 key chains, these Bitcoins are not yours. That the guy will help you set up. And me, I don't do anything. When you come to my coaching, I just ask you a couple of questions. I help them with the Bitcoin.org formula, and so they will suggest a wallet, and I help them set up the wallet, but they do everything themselves. They have to be, because that's the thing, responsibility, ownership. Anyways, we have about like 10 minutes before we're being kicked out of this room. So would you like, I'd like to hear you a little bit about this great project of you. I think it's very interesting. You know, last time we met in private, you talked about this
housing project.
Project with mining / eating. I like it. So let's close the show with that, please.
Excellent. So Eric and I, we've been in Bitcoin since 2017, and we started mining just lately. We bought 2 miners, and we were mining Ethereum at the beginning. And playing with it, Eric, my brother, he had it in his garage, and he would open the door. In winter, it would heat up his house, and in summer, he would just open his garage door and to let the heat out. And then at one point, we're like, one of our buddies said, "We need to find a way to recuperate the heat."
This heat, yes.
Yeah, because the big mining operations, what they do is they just use they put all these mining equipment, and the heat they just evacuate it, and then they spend all that money. And so we had this flash of creating Bitcoin housing, where instead of telling you, "Hey, go buy this machine for $10,000 and mine at your place," and then you have all these wires and shit. And a lot of people mine at home, so our idea was, you know what? Let's offer a house where you're purchasing the house, and there's a smart monitor on the wall. It creates money every day. You don't have to plug it in yourself. Everything is already there, and the cost of the rigs, which will be probably 3 per house, is already absorbed in the cost of the house. So you're not paying more for the house, but the house is creating a revenue every day. And
amazing. This is great.
And the heat, we've rethought like the house completely. So the heat is reused. We have 20 reuses of the heat, including the main ventilation system, the main system, the spa, the pool, the sauna.
AC? If you do it in Bitcoin City? In Salvador, because they don't need to eat.
We haven't, the AC has nothing to do, because our main use is saying it's mining, plus it's heating your home. So, but the smart monitor is super smart because it takes into account the price of Bitcoin and the cost of energy wherever it's in Quebec, but the cost of energy, and it redirects the heat because it's always ongoing. The rig's got to be cooled all the time. So there's a constant heat source, and so it's going to redirect either. We have these great use cases where we're going to have a food warmer, a blow dryer. They're really not participating lots in the savings, but it's kind of cool that you can blow dry your hair and you're still making Bitcoin. Or a person dryer, like a whole big dryer. You know, so we have all these small use cases that we want, or a boot dryer for winter here, and so we're rewiring the whole house.
So your model is about mostly the northern country.
So far
right now, okay.
Because I mean, if we could take the heat and you could start planting some plants and tomatoes in February here, in April here, instead of in June, because you have this dome and then the backyard with the heat going in.
A greenhouse. You could eat your greenhouse with that.
So
that's amazing.
So that's what we want to do. So there's
This is what I'm talking about practical, real agility, guys.
Pretty cool.
Stop your academic bullshit of playing
pretty
music.
cool. It's a big.
This is real
it's
thing.
a big project, and we want to do the first Bitcoin village. We want to buy a land of 1 million square feet.
So we need an ambassador from Azonte here.
We need.
So that's why you have to come, Eric, and you have to come with me in Azonte.
We're
going to meet some other
go this year.
An engineer. We probably need an engineer right now.
We need a few things, but we're going to build the first Bitcoin city with 20 houses in Quebec, and it's going to be a new way of living. Also, it's going to be a Bitcoin house. It's called Bitcoin housing.
It's going to be so hot that you'll be able to be naked even in today's temperature. You guys in Quebec, because I'm in Miami right now.
It's going to be crazy. And you're going to see me do some clips like on TikTok saying, my fireplace is heating my place. And I'm making Bitcoin. I'm drying my hair. And I'm actually we're gonna take one of these vents, because there's water cooling and there's air cooling. We're gonna stick it in the oven. We can go up to 150 Celsius, just as a warmer. We're gonna fuck it all up. Isn't it incredible?
So from writing great song at Place des Arts here in Montreal in a bubble, to writing these kind of blueprint ideas for a Bitcoin village here in Quebec. Legault, you better
it's gonna be fucked up.
Back off, Legault. Let people create. We are in a real capitalist. Hey, it was great to have you, man.
Thanks, man.
Nice weekend. And I will close the show as usual with my little kind of jingle. Remember who you really are. You are a beautiful human being. You are a powerful human being. And you are free to be whoever you wanted to be and to do whatever you wanted to do in respect of one another. Cheers, guys. Happy weekend. And see you next Friday from Mexico City.